As children, so far we learned about the birth of UNO, isn't the United Nations Organization. It formed on October 24, 1945, soon after the Second World War ended. Yes, because of this First World War, Second World War, the world lost its peace. So to maintain peace and security in the world, leaders or many leaders of big nations, they form an organization called United Nations Organization with its main objective to promote peace and security in the world. Yes, that is the birth of United Nations Organization actually. So it worked for peace and security, mainly for peace and security in the world. Then to develop friendly relationship among the countries. Then it worked for human freedom, human rights. Then to provide good food security, to remove hunger, to provide education, to remove illiteracy from the world, for the poor people, poor children, for development of many countries. UNO works, yes, they works for the development of these things, yes. And to do its work, to carry out its work, it has its main organs. UNO has its organs to carry out its work. Its main organs are there. In that we learned about General Assembly. It's one of the organ of UNO, General Assembly. Then many members are, members means countries are part of the General Assembly. Then we learned about the Secretariat. Secretariat. That Secretariat actually all the day-to-day work of United Nations Organization, all the administrative work or day-to-day work is carried out by Secretariat, and it is headed by Secretary General. It has a Secretary General. He is appointed by the General Assembly. Yes, so in Secretariat all day-to-day work is carrying out in Secretariat, and its headquarters is at New York. UNO headquarters is at New York, and Secretariat is part of that headquarters. Okay. Then we learned about the Security Council, another organ of the United Nations, another important or powerful effective organ of United Nations is Security Council actually. Yes, Security Council, they mainly work for the international peace and security. The name itself, it is the Security Council. They work for security, international peace and security among the world. Yes, and for Security Council, there are actually 15 members are there. In that, 5 members are permanent. 5 are permanent members. These permanent members of this UN Security Council is USA, then UK, then Russia, then France, China. These are the 5 permanent members of Security Council of United Nations Organization. 10 are temporary. So all the important decisions to carry out all the important decisions or to final it, this 5 permanent members, they should give the consent or they should agree or they should give permission. Other than that, it is invalid. Yes. Then besides this 6 organs of United Nations, they have some agencies also to carry out the work. UNO has some agencies to carry out the work. Not only organs, they have some agencies also. Yes, the number of specialized agencies of this organization, some of them are United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It is called UNESCO. Okay. Yes, UNO has some specialized agencies to carry out its work. So one among this is UNESCO, means United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. One of the specialized agency of UNO is this one. They work for what? United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. They work for to promote education and also to promote the culture, to preserve the culture and all. Okay, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. They impart education. They wanted to remove illiteracy from the world. They give education to the young people and also to the old people. Yes. Then World Health Organization, it is called WHO. Another specialized agency of UNO is World Health Organization. World Health Organization. They work for the health, isn't it? A name indicates health. So World Health Organization. They actually work for the to improve the healthcare, medical facilities, hygienic conditions, etc. for all parts of the world, especially for the poor people. So World Health Organization. They provide medicines, vaccination. They work for that. To give food, to give clean water to drink, good food to eat, etc. Yes, and to improve the food security, that they work for that, not food, health security. Then the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Next is UNICEF. 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 United. Yes, it's United Nations. Then International United Nations International Children's Educational Fund. That is UNICEF. United and Nations, I International, C Children's, E Educational Fund. Yes, they work for the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Yes, they collect fund also to carry out the work. Especially they help the children, poor children, by providing them good clothes, food, education and all. Then Food and Agriculture Organization is that is FAO. FAO is Food and Agricultural Organization. Food and Agriculture Organization. It is FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. Yes. They wanted to defeat or destroy hunger or defeat hunger from the world. Yes, they wanted to improve the nutrition and they wanted to give food security to the world. They mainly work to improve the agriculture, food production and all. That is Food and Agriculture Organization. They want to remove hunger from the world. They wanted to improve the nutrition, good food. They wanted to give food security as well as they wanted to improve the agriculture. So they work for that. So these are the specialized agencies of United Nations Organization who work for each and every specific things, like UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. But the name indicates they imparts education to the young people and the old people. They impart education. They wanted to remove illiteracy from the world. Illiteracy means people, those who cannot read and write. So at least people should get basic education. At least they should know how to read and write. So they impart education, not only from the textbook. They impart some scientific knowledge, latest development in science. In that way they are teaching so that they can understand about what are happening around them. They can understand about technology. They can solve the practical problems in their life. Technology they should understand. So they are teaching in such a way that they should understand and learn. Scientific knowledge they are giving to understand the nature of the world. So education, they are imparting education in that way to the young as well as to the old people. So United Nations, they work for education as well as cultural organization to preserve the cultural monuments there are different culture people living in different parts of the country. So to preserve, to protect the culture. In India we have different culture, isn't it? We have old monuments, temples, tombs, etc. Like Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, then Ajanta, Ellora Caves. These are our cultural architects, isn't it? So we should protect it, isn't it? So to protect, how to protect these old monuments, it's a part of our Indian culture. So in every country that culture is there. So how to protect it from spoiling. So these things take care of by UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization. WHO is World Health Organization. So health means they take care of health, isn't it? By giving good health, good food, good clean water, they give food security, and also this thing, medicine, vaccination, etc. Yes, so that is the work of WHO, World Health Organization there. Then next one, specialized agencies, UNICEF, United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Yes, they work for the poor children all over the world, to give them good education, clothes, etc. For poor children in the world, they work. That is United Nations International Children's Educational Fund. Then they give food, clothing, education to all of the poor children in the world. Food and Agriculture Organization is FAO. Their main work is to give good nutrition, give food security, to improve agriculture, to remove hunger. That is their main work. Yes, so these are the different agencies working for the United Nations Organization. Yes, these agencies are charged with specific responsibilities. What I explained to you now are the responsibilities. Responsibility is for UNESCO. They work for the education and also the cultural development. Then WHO work especially for health. UNICEF work for the poor children's education, food security. Food and Agriculture Organization, they work to improve the food security, improve agriculture, and to remove hunger. So all these specialized agencies have the special work. They have their own responsibilities, specific responsibilities in the field of health, education, science, trade, culture, human rights, etc. So they work for this. So there are different members. Members of nations are the for these agencies to carry out the work. People are there to carry out the work. Yes, so that's about the United Nations Organization. They have organs as well as they have specialized agencies to carry out the work. Okay. Yes, children, so we learned about the birth of United Nations Organization, how it formed, what are the reasons behind its formation, isn't it? Because of the World War. Because of World War, the world lost peace in the world. First World War, then afterwards Second World War, it caused huge damage to the entire world. People lost their peace. So because of that, the big nations, they formed organization called United Nations Organization, with the main objective, main aim is to work for the peace and security of the world. So this is the reason why United Nations Organization formed after the Second World War. Second World War ended in 1945. So 1945, 24th October, United Nations Organization or UNO was formed. Yes, it worked for peace and security in the world. It worked for the development of many countries. It worked to maintain friendly relationship among the countries, among the nation. It worked for human freedom, human rights. It worked for the poor people around the world, for the education, for the clothing, for the food, etc. Yes, so they are trying the level best to do the work. So and they are succeeded also. They are succeeded in maintaining peace and security of the world to a great extent. India-Pakistan war, they stopped the war between Iran and Iraq, India, Pakistan. They tried to stop the war and they succeeded in that. They became so successful in that to maintain peace and security. Okay, so to do the work, to carry out the work, UNO has many organs. They have 6 main organs to carry out the work. So 6 main organs. One is General Assembly, then the Security Council is there, then Secretariat is there, the International Court of Justice, Trusteeship Council, like that. Different organs are there for United Nations organization to carry out the work. Among that 6 main organs, we learned about General Assembly, we learned about Secretariat. Secretariat, it's to carry day-to-day work. For all the administrative work, day-to-day work is carried out by the Secretariat, isn't it? The Secretariat. And it has a Secretary General. It has a Secretary General. He is appointed by the General Assembly. And it has headquarters of UNO, it is at New York. Yes. And Security Council is another important and effective organ of UNO. Security Council means what? To maintain peace and security in the world. That is Security Council. They work for that. And for Security Council, there are 5 permanent members. Total there are 10 members and 5 permanent members are there. Which are these permanent member nations? USA, UK, China, Russia, France. They are the 5 permanent members. Remaining 10 members are the temporary. Then we learned about some specialized agencies. Other than these 6 main organs, UNO has some specialized agencies are there to carry out the work. Some specific responsibilities are given to these agencies to carry out the work. So we learned about UNESCO, then we learned about UNICEF, we learned about WHO, then we learned about FAO. So these are some specialized agencies of United Nations organization to do some work, to manage some responsibilities or some work, like United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. They carry out which work, they are specialized in which work. They impart education to people, to the young as well as old people. Scientific knowledge they are imparting. Yes, and they also work for the to preserve the culture of the every countries, isn't it? Yes. Then UNICEF, what is that? United Nations International Children's Educational Fund. They work especially for the poor children all over the world. Their education, the clothing, the food, the security. Then WHO, it's a World Health Organization. They wanted to attain good health for all the people, so they work for good medicines, to give good medicines and vaccination. They work for that, the good food, the good clean water, for all those things WHO works. And Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, they work to remove hunger from the country, to improve nutrition, so that everyone should get nutritious food. Yes, so that they get good immunity power, they should not get many diseases and all. Yes, so Food and Agriculture Organization, they works to improve agriculture. So these are some specialized agencies work for some specific responsibilities. Yes, okay, so all together organs, agencies, they all work to maintain good things in all over the world, maintain peace and security, work for the development of the countries, and maintain friendly relationship among the nations, and working for the human freedom and rights. So this is the thing we learned in this lesson. Yes, time to recall. UNO was formed after the Second World War. Yes, 1945, 24th October, UNO was formed, United Nations Organization. UNO is not a world government. It is not a world government. The main objectives of UNO are security and development of different nations. Yes. UNO has its organs to carry out its business, to carry out its work, its business. It has its main organs. UNO has its headquarters in New York. The headquarters of UNO is in New York. Yes, so this is about this is the lesson, and we completed the lesson. So you have to go through the lesson, you have to read the lesson as many times as possible. Okay, now you have to, we have the exercise to do, so let us go to the exercise part. Okay.